Hello, welcome to this edition of the Sancomb Show. My name is Matthew Keifer. I'm the Director of Athletic Communications here with the California Vulcans. Coach, apologized last week here. We couldn't do it. A lot of people were sick, but again, I think it's one of those things everybody across the campus and even the Northeast seemed to have a little bit of cold the last week or two, and some are still fighting it.
Going around.
So, but looking back 2 weeks now, starting with IUP, one of those things there, they've been the standard for so long in this league, in this region. You guys, they're coming into a little bit of a down year record-wise, but still the talent is there. The guard play, one of those things there going into against IUP.
Yeah, they've got a talented team. They're young this year. Since I've been in the league, it's by far their youngest team. But they, they're a team. Again, they're not going to beat themselves. They're going to make you beat them. They execute on offense. They're very good defensively. They always give themselves a chance to be in the game. So I thought, we were able to execute. We got a little lead in the second half, and we were able to hold them off down the stretch.
Yeah, in that game, Cam went for 25 points, 9 of 10 from the line. Then you had Jordan Buchanan, 18 points, and then Caden and Keandre both had a dozen points. So nice balance overall.
Yeah, I like when we're doing that. Cam obviously really got it going in that game and had some good stretches, and was able to get to the foul line. Like he's over 90% from the foul line, getting there and scoring some easy points. But the other guys, just contributing. We've started to see that here more and more in the second half of the season, and it just makes it harder for teams to focus in on us.
Yeah, in that game, the big new transfer for IUP, number 11 Christian Moore finished with 24, but he went 7 of 20. So if you make a guy shoot 20 times to get 24 points, you can live with that as a coach. Yeah,
he's good too. So we had to work on him. I thought he got it really going on early. I thought as the game continued, we did a little bit better job on him. He's just hard to defend. They run a lot of good stuff to get him open looks or giving him a step on somebody where he can get downhill and finish. And I thought we competed hard against them, and we'll take the 7 for 20 for sure.
And in the game, you referenced that they don't really give you anything. They ended up shooting 37% from the floor, Cal 42%. That's just typically how IUP plays. They force you to take some tough shots, and it keeps the scores relatively low.
Yeah, I mean they do a good job with that. It's a struggle at times to score against them, and I think the last 4 or 5 minutes that we were a little bit complacent. We had a lead. I probably could have called a little bit better sets for us to get us some looks, but we were able to hold off and win the game, which was important.
Yeah, it's a 78-74 victory over the Crimson Hawks. It's the third straight win for Cal over IUP. That's the first time it's happened since 06-08. So it just sort of tells you where the program has shifted. Both sides, that you've got your guys in there believing they can compete and beat anybody any day, and then IUP being a young roster. Yeah,
they do, but they're, like I said, they've gotten better, and in a few weeks it'll be a dogfight when we have to go up there for sure.
Yeah, and it's a 74-72 with 30 seconds left, so it was right there at the end. Free throws prove the difference there. When you have Donald and Cam having the ball in the backcourt and it's a foul situation, you like your chances of those two guys going to the line.
Most definitely. I think Donald's over 80% and Cam's over 90%, and they do a good job controlling the ball, and they can make clutch foul shots as well.
And then it's almost a little different perspective there where you come in and Gannon comes into Cal on Saturday, and that's a team that's been in first place most of the year. They still run the high-tempo, quick-scoring offense a little bit. You're going to have to score to beat them. They're not going to keep the game in the 60s or 70s. You're going to have to score, and that's something Cal did early and often in that game.
Yeah, you talk about two different styles of play between them and IUP, going from one style to the next in 2 days. You get a half-court team that controls tempo to a team that they want to get as many possessions as they possibly can in the game. And, it was a good adjustment for us. I think just starting the game, handling their pressure, we did a really good job not turning the ball over. And I think that's really key, against them. And we were able to get some easy baskets against their press and really kind of got them out of their press. Really in the second half, they were a half-court man defensive team.
Yeah, it's one of those things there. You had just good balance overall. You had Donald with 30 points, Cam with 20, Keandre off the bench having a huge game with 23 points, 6 rebounds, and then Caden Haney goes for 15 and 6. So it's just a nice balance there. Again, you guys shoot over 50% from the floor. You have to shoot well against Gannon because they're going to get so many possessions.
Yeah, we did. And, like you said, you mentioned 4 guys in double figures and solid double figures, too. I think that's the way we would play. Obviously, we scored 106 points, so there was a lot of points. But, to get Keandre, off the bench, he was really good. He was attacking. He had some matchups in his favor. He was able to exploit those, for us. Obviously, Cam and Donald, they're pretty consistent. And Caden has been, an unsung hero for us, this year and had a really good game. as well. So yeah, it was good for us because Dowman was in a little bit of foul trouble that game, and we still were able to compete and hang on the glass versus a team that's very good on the offensive glass.
It's one of those things there, you held them to shooting only 3-13 from beyond the arc in the second half. That's a team, when they get going, they score in bunches, but they really rely on the three when they do that and their press. So you're able to handle that situation.
Yeah, they're just able to score, in a lot of different ways. Obviously, they can score because they create turnovers, and they do create so many turnovers, but they have some guys that really can shoot it, we were able to make it, difficult on them, especially in the second half. So, obviously, anytime you beat the team that's first place in your league, it's a great win for you. And, we just got to, keep the momentum going from that point on. That's what we really talked on after the game. I know everybody was happy, but we had to turn around and play again. And it's great that you beat them, but, you want to keep that momentum going. And, our guys have been, dialed in here of late.
In that game there, you actually set season highs with both 29 free throws and 38 attempts. So got to the line early, often, and converted a lot. And that's a huge, when you play those teams, they're giving you free points, you got to take them.
No doubt about it. We've done a good job with that this year, too. And I just liked our aggressiveness that game. I thought we attacked, and we just didn't attack to lay the basketball up softly. We were driving the ball, trying to dunk, on their guys and taking it strong to the basket where, when you get contact, when you're going like that, it's a little bit, you make the referee's job a lot easier at that point in time. So, we want to continue to be aggressive like that. But I thought, in that game particularly, we were very, very aggressive attacking the rim.
So that was on Saturday 2 weeks ago. But then you talk about contrast of styles. You go from up-tempo of Gannon to a pure zone, 24/7 basically for Seton Hill. So again, another change of pace for the guys. 3 different, truly unique styles of play in 3 games in a row.
Without a doubt, and it's funny because when I first came into the league, I felt like the league was played very similar to how IUP plays it, very slow, methodical, all right, playing games in 50s and 60s. And as we've had some turnover in coaches, things have certainly changed, which we mentioned about Gannon. And now we, go on to, Seton Hill, who plays a 2-3 zone and is very active in it. I think it just makes, for our league, I think it helps prepare teams, to see, you're going to see a little bit of everything now in our conference.
And it's one of those things there, you guys got a nice lead there, 40-27 at halftime. You ended up getting the 74-53 win. One of those things you like guys in double figures, hard not to like when you have all 5 starters in double figures.
Yeah. Again, the balance of that was good. I thought we did a good job moving the ball around, being able to make some shots, getting the ball where we wanted to, and being able to attack their zone. And, there's just the unselfishness when you start looking around. You have, 5 guys in double figures, especially when, we're a little bit short-handed with guys that are dressed. We dressed 9 guys because of illness. And, I just thought it was a good game for us all around on both ends of the court. But offensively, I really like seeing those, 4 or 5 guys in double figures.
Yeah, Donald finished with 20 points there. Cam had 12, but had 8 assists. And then Jordan Buchanan had a career high 15 rebounds and 10 points. So one of those things really going after the glass there. Interesting to note with that game, both teams only had 4 offensive rebounds. So everybody was aggressive on the defensive and didn't really get any second chance points in that game.
Yeah, it's an area we would like to see ourselves get better in for sure. We were happy to get the win. And you mentioned Jordan. I think Jordan has really come on here in conference play. He's played very well for us. You mentioned 10 points, 15 rebounds. When you're getting that from your wing, 15 rebounds. I was really, really happy. We talked to him a little bit after the game just about he was going after the ball and getting traffic rebounds. So good to see him, playing at a high level for us as a freshman.
And when I said there, Seton Hill had 26 points in the second half, but they only made 8 field goals. They only shot 29%. So it's one of those things it's hard to come back when you can't put the ball in the basket. You guys were really aggressive on defense in the second half, really just putting the clamps down.
Yeah, I thought that entire game we were sound on defense. I thought we made them work, they had a little bit of trouble scoring. Obviously, they scored 53 points, and our defense had a lot to do with that. So I was happy with our transition defense, not giving them easy baskets, and I thought we guarded pretty well in the half court, which are hard to guard too. There are a lot of slipping of screens, ghosting screens, and guys getting downhill. They pass the ball well, so we were happy with our defensive effort.
So you had those 3 home games in a row, basically a homestand there for you guys. And you go back on the road and finally going to Slippery Rock, a team you guys handled pretty good the first time down here, but the game started so differently up at this place. They didn't miss basically to start the game, and you guys had a huge deficit, but you found a way to come back.
Yeah, they were on fire. It was kind of a crazy game. They had a couple guys sick, guy out with injury is a key player for him. He's been out for a while, but they had a starter that was sick. Obviously, we have a couple guys that are sick, and we've got 4 guys that are medically redshirting as well. So I thought it was a game of it was really a tale of 2 different games. The start of that game, they were on fire and they shot the ball from the outside. They scored it. We really had no answer, and we looked up at the scoreboard. I think with about 8 minutes left in the first half, we were down 20. And we just kept talking about, let's see if we can chip this down to 10. How do we chip it down to 10? And we were fortunate enough to get it down to 8 by the end of the half. And I thought our offense started to pick up, the last 8-9 minutes of the first half. And that carried through to the second half. I think we scored 50 points in the second half. And we were pretty, we were pleased with that. They're a very long, athletic team, good defensively. And we were able to get it going in the second half. And again, we had some guys that really step up. Donald was very good the entire game, but especially down the stretch, he was almost unguardable.
Yeah, he finished with 33 points, 26 of those in the second half. So basically, once he crossed the midcourt line, if he had the ball in his hand, he was going to find a way to put the ball in the basket. And that's such a weapon for a team, knowing, okay, this guy is going to get it, and he's going to score. There's nothing we can do about it. It's not like he's a post where he's like, I can double him. He's a guard with quick hands, quick feet, and you get a quick shot off.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to watch Donald. He can kind of get to where he wants to go. He always feels, and we always feel, he can get a shot off anytime. And he made some plays. He had some floaters in the lanes. He made some threes. He had some pull-ups. He was in his bag for sure, which is great to see. And then earlier in the first half, or the second half as well, Cam had a long run too, where he really carried us offensively and got it going as well. So when those 2 guys get it going, which they did at different times really in the second half, it makes it hard for teams to guard us for sure.
And Cam actually in that game finished with 20, and for him, reaching a milestone in his career, getting 1,000 points. Started his career at Westchester, averaged 6 points a game. His first year at Cal was 13 points. Last year was basically a lost season for him. Played 1 game, not even a handful of minutes, and then coming back this year, averaging 18. Just talks about the idea of, like, you see games this week, the last couple of weeks, where he did a lot of assists, a lot of rebounds, can score, can shoot outside, can shoot inside. It's just been an overall nice player for you addition here, and especially coming back from injury.
Yeah, happy for Cam. Last year was tough for him. We had such a great run, and he wasn't able to really be a part of that with his wrist injury. And for him to get back, he's such a hard worker and worked extremely hard last year getting himself back. He's here in the summer, constantly working on his game. So it's great to see. And you had mentioned, the other things, the rebounding, the assist, all that stuff is really so important, to our team. When I look up there, every time I see Cam with a big game, I'll look in the rebounding. He'll have 6 to 8 rebounds. He'll have, 4 to 5 assists. So, he has the ability to do all those things and make plays and really make it easier for other guys, And off the top of my head, that game too, Caden Hanna, he was another guy with a double-double that game. I think he had 19 points and 10 rebounds. And like I said, he's just been a rock for us, just battling inside, winning loose balls, rebounding the ball. He really, hit some threes in the game and had a great game for us as well. So it was good to see, those 3 guys really, scored a good amount of points.
And it's sort of like a kid in there. He comes from La Roche, where he's freshman of the year, Division III conference. He comes here as a sophomore year, plays a lot off the bench. Last year takes more of a reserve role because the guys, you had your rotation there, but he was still in the game, but he was a big guy on the bench, just cheering the guys on. This year, you think, okay, maybe a 6th man to start, 7th man, but now he's one of your top 3-4 guys every game, and it just speaks to him to being able to adapt, coming from Division III, but his game going from inside outside, doing a lot of different things, and all the tough stuff that doesn't always show up in the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's been great. We saw this year, I knew just last year Caden didn't play a whole lot. Attitude was still great, but even if we don't have the injuries, Caden is going to be playing an impactful role on our team this year. I knew that through the summer, and obviously when I saw him when he came back, I knew he had really worked hard this summer. And like you said, he's went from a guy that, you're looking maybe at the sixth man that is a consistent player who brings it each and every night and really has impact on whether we're going to win or lose. So it's good. He's all in, and all that stuff on the court, the statistics is great, but his leadership behind the scenes is every bit as important to this team.
Well, let's take a look at the last couple of weeks here. We'll take a quick break, see where the standings are after all this action, and also look ahead at tomorrow's contest at Clarion.
Coach Danny Sancomb and the Vulcans men's basketball is ready to take the conference and the nation by storm this season. A non-conference schedule that starts on November 8th is followed by the PSAC West play in January. Pack the Convocation Center with 13 home games featuring non-conference foes such as Concord, Lincoln, and Wilmington, as well as conference opponents IUP, Gannon, Slippery Rock, Clarion, Edinboro, Seton Hill, and Pitt Johnstown. Follow Cal Vulcans for the all-up-to-date schedule. Catch all the games on YouTube with CUTV Sports 1 and also the PSAC Digital Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
More than 7,500 student athletes working to become champions in the league's 23 championship sports. 17 member campuses, educating more than 110,000 students, with an alumni base that tops the 1 million mark. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, making the PSAC proud.
Hello, welcome back to this edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Kiefer. With me as coach here before a contest with Clarion tomorrow. But we just talked about the last 2 weeks here. A lot of shakeup in the conference. That win against Seton Hill actually moved Cal into a tie for second. It's just crazy to think of how much the standings can change in a matter of a couple of weeks when you just play nothing but conference games. But it also gives the idea of knowing no matter where you are, you still have a chance to play for something.
Yeah, and the parity. It's just, there's not a lot of separation at all. So each and every game, it can change from a Wednesday to a Saturday. You can go from, the top or the bottom and really move up or really move down, just depending on how you do. And it's like every other season, though. It's about winning games, and when you go into them, you got to figure out, the best game plan, and then you got to go execute it, and you got to win basketball games. But it's tight. Right now, it's about as tight and as balanced as this league has been since the 7 years that I've been here.
Yeah, looking at the standings there, you have Gannon still in first place, 13-3, but they've lost 4 of their last 5 overall. They're at Slippery Rock this week and at Clarion, so it's 2 road games for them, and Slippery Rock can present a tough matchup. And Clarion gave them a game and took them down earlier this year, so it's one of those things there. And then second, you have Cal and Edinboro, both tied at 9-7. Cal's won 7 of 9, exactly where you want to be, playing your best ball right now. And then Edinboro's actually won 4 of 5. They're idle, and then they go at IUP on Saturday. So really a dogfight there between us and Fighting Scots so far at second. Then Slippery Rock is 7-8, but they've lost 5 of 6. But they have the ability, if they get some guys back, they can change their season real quick. And then Seton Hill's at 7-9, but they have a unique week where they're off the entire week. They're just sitting there scoreboard watching, so that's got to be tough as a team when you have a whole week. It's nice to get the time off, but at the same point, you want to be playing and keep yourself in some sort of rhythm.
Yeah, with Mercyhurst leaving, we'll go through that next week. We'll play Clarion, and then we won't play again until the following Wednesday. So, I think as a coach, at that point, we got to try to be creative and figure out how we keep these guys motivated, fresh, and not lose your edge. I think that's the most important thing you don't want to lose. But, going through the standings, I say this a lot, just the balance in our league, the coaches in our league, the game planning in the league, the players in our league is just such a great high-level Division II basketball conference that, especially on our side this year, it's very, very competitive. So, I know everybody's jockeying in, and you got to work hard to make the tournament. It's no, gimme there. So, you got to win games to get in, and then obviously, I think the teams that are fortunate enough to get in, it's going to be a great conference tournament this year.
Yeah, Gaines already locked up a spot in the West, but in the East, you have 3 teams already locked it up: Westchester, East Stroudsburg, and Shepherd. They're right now Westchester's 14-2, East Stroudsburg's 11-4, and Shepherd's 11-5. But 2 of those teams have a bye this week as well. So those standings will shake up a little bit just for the idea of having those times off and having those half games, and it feels almost like a baseball schedule when you have these half games or full games difference, just because guys are having the time off between the balance there and the schedules.
Yeah, and those teams that you mentioned, especially Westchester, they lost their first 2 games of the year, and I think they have 4 losses on the year. So they've played really well for a long period of time. In East Stroudsburg, we had a chance, obviously, to play them as well. Another team that is going to be hard to beat. They're not going to beat themselves either. And then you start to get into, Shepherd, Millersville. We were able to see all of them this year, and, very good. Shepherd defends, very, very well. Millersville can score the ball inside and out. So, their side always is competitive as well. And, it's going to be a dogfight over there as well to get into the tournament, and they're jockeying for, a lot of places there. It's very close as well. So it'll be pretty exciting to watch here as it comes down to the end.
Yeah, on Monday afternoon there, the conference gave Donald Whitehead Player of the Week. Definitely deserved the week he had, having 33 points, career high, 26 in the second half of that comeback. But just Donald overall this season has been such a huge guy for you guys. And plus he's the 3rd different player for you to get Player of the Week. So it tells you about the depth of your roster. And a couple of those guys who got awards earlier in the year, they're not even playing because of injuries.
Yeah, Donald is a unique player as far as he's smaller, but he's so tough. Obviously, everybody can see, 33 points, 6, 7 assists, whatever it was. But just what he does defensively as well. He just, really puts his body in there and fights for everything. And, just offensively, he's so good at getting us into what we need to get into. He's really a guy that is not a forcer. He makes plays when they're out there to be made, but he's really, sets the table well for us. Obviously, we need him to score more this year than we have ever relied on him. But Donald can score the basketball. Like I said, he has the ability to get a shot off whenever he wants. It's just really hard, matchup. So real happy for him. He deserved it. I thought a few other times this year he's been right there in the mix of it, and we need him, to play well for us to have the success we've had here of late.
Yeah, you've been blessed too in your time here. You've had Brent for so many years, now you've had Donald. Your team definitely goes as your point guard goes. You can see the growth in Donald from year to year, and just how his game's continuing to evolve.
Yeah, Brent and Donald it's night and day. Donald is very just subdued, laid back, but very fierce and competitive. I think him and Brent have that competitive spirit. Just comes out different. Brent was very boisterous and ready to go all the time, and Donald is really a silent killer. Just he's just all right, very kind of laid back. Both of them have made me look a heck of a lot smarter as a coach, for sure. And they're both, great players. And I'm glad, Donald is experienced. And Donald's had to go through a difficult time in college with some serious injuries, and he's always been able to bounce back. And now he's performing at a high level. So it's great to see for him and us.
Yeah. Looking for those high levels will be going tomorrow against Clarion, the team he faced earlier this season. Have the top PSA scorer in the PSAC in Cam Kearney, averaging 21.5, but they also have the top assist guy in the league in Trey Nelson. So it gives you the idea of when they want to, they can score, and those 2 guys are a big part of it.
Yeah, they're good. He's a tough matchup. He has the ability to make threes. He has the ability to put the ball on the floor. He has the ability to post. He's great on the offensive glass. So, when you talk about, ways of scoring, he does it all. And their point guard really is their, sets the table. He's a good player, passes the ball extremely well. He can score the ball as well, very under control, runs their offense very well. But their other guys, are good too. They have good spacing out there. Guys can put it on the floor and attack. They have guys that can make shots. So defensively, we are going to have to be locked in to go up there and ready to play. They're hard to guard.
Yeah, it's an improving team. They've already improved their +3 this year in the overall wins. They've already equaled their same amount of conference wins as last year. They split their last 6 games, win-loss. So it's one of those things. It's just sort of how their season's going. And they're first in the conference in 3-point shooting. So if they're beyond the arc, they're going to shoot it, and they have a good chance of making it.
Yeah, we're going to have to defend the 3 for sure. And keep them off the offensive glass. I thought last time we played them, they hurt us on the offensive glass. So we're going to have to be able to box them out, and we're going to have to defend the three, and just got to defend them. Like that's just the key. I mean, they're good at attacking the rim, and they're a team, like you said, the best three-point shooting team that can make shots.
Yeah, so that game is tomorrow at 7:30 up at Clarion, up at Tippett Gymnasium. You can follow the action on calvulcans.com. Then you get a Saturday off to do a little bit of scouting, a little bit of recruiting, do a little bit of relaxing, hopefully. But we'll be back again here, hopefully next week, talk about the contest for the Golden Eagles. Thanks for watching the Sancomb Show.